Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Slot on using another video. And today, we got the 27 coolest features added to college football 27. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. That's great. 27 coolest features added to college football 27. By yours truly, Eric Rayweather. Let's get into it, y'all boys.
27 cool new things were added for college football 27 this year. Starting with gameplay stuff, number 1, timing-based catching. This is an optional system that you can turn on that allows you to go up for those 50-50 balls, and if you can green your catch, you can guarantee that you come down with it unless you get hit with a big hit stick. But you can also use it in other situations too if you just want to guarantee a secure catch. There's also settings, so if you only wanted to activate on deep throws down the field, you can do that. And it works on defense too. If you get in position and you can time it right, you can guarantee the interception instead of dropping them all the time. That's just one of the 27 cool new things that's coming to college football 27. With the game about to release in a week, you may have not caught up on all of the info thus far, so I'm putting it all together in this one video so you know all the things that matter. Number 2 is something I'm really excited about, and it's called smart zones. Now, we know in older games, sometimes the zone coverage left a lot to be desired. Sometimes it was okay, sometimes it was nonsensical. And look, I'm not saying it's perfect, but this year they are a lot smarter. They're going to look for work for players coming in their area. They're not going to just stand around and cover grass nearly as much. They're going to be more aware of what's happening and more aggressive at attacking things that are coming into their zone as they should. And that brings us to number 3, which is another really great gameplay feature, custom adjustments, something we've wanted for years, and now it's finally here. You can set custom adjustments on both offense and defense from your settings menu and then bring them into the game with you. So if you have certain play setups that you like or certain types of coverages you want to go to on defense versus someone that's cheesing a play over and over, you can have these already set so that you just need to press a couple of buttons and your entire defense or offense is set up with all of your custom adjustments instead of having to manually make 20 different clicks and inputs on your controller. This right here is going to be the absolute biggest gameplay changer for college football 27. At number 4, we have another crazy change, and that's a QB sneak meter. Yeah, they're just adding meters for everything now, but this is pretty cool. When you're lining up for a QB sneak now, you're going to have a green window, and if you hit it, you have a much better chance of converting. But the meter isn't the only thing that's taken into account. It takes into account what the defensive setup is like, the strength, the weight, the rating. So all of these things are going to be factored in a lot more on the goal line or in those 1 yard to go situations now. And while all of those things are really good, there's another really big game changer coming to the game this year as well, and that's number 5, new defensive adjustments. You can now set your coverage to aggressive or conservative based on how you want your defense to react. If you're playing someone that's checking down, throwing drags, throwing flat routes every play, you know those guys, you've gone up against them before, you could set your defense to aggressive, and they're going to clamp down on that, but they will give up some of the stuff behind them because you're telling them to do that. But you can also set it to conservative if you're worried about the more intermediate or deeper passes in a longer down situation. They're going to get further back, give up the stuff underneath, and absolutely clamp down over the middle of the field. And with this also comes a bunch of new coaching adjustments where you can set your defensive line aggression, their gap integrity. You can also customize all of your match coverage checks for things like cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms, and cover 6 versus popular formations like shotgun bunch or trips so that you can take away those annoying formations a lot easier. Number 6 is another really cool addition, and it could be your favorite depending on what type of a player you are. They brought back formation shifts. This adds a whole nother layer of creativity to offense. Before your play, you can use the right stick to select a different formation. Then when you hit the field and you go to snap the ball, your players will shift into the other formation. So this makes it a lot harder for the defense to get a read on what you want to do. And look, this has just been a really big year of innovation on gameplay because number 7 is kind of taking this a step further with...
Okay. Right. Formation shifts are gonna be a motherfucker. Hey, y'all gonna see that. Y'all gonna see it from me. Y'all gonna see it from TTK. Y'all gonna see it from BTG. I hope y'all see it from everybody else in the Louisville area that plans on doing content creation in terms of college football and shit like Madden. Hey, there's gonna be skill gaps, and I will be wagering people to take their money because of the skill gap in this game. So, yeah, let's hopefully hope these niggas stay on their word. Hopefully hope.
Now in the past we were able to hit stick up or cut stick down, but now if you go left or right on the stick, it's going to give you wrap and lunge tackles as well. So now the right stick is a complete tackling and hitting machine. Now those were all of the most important parts about game.
I didn't know that. So if I go here or here, wrap or lunge. So if I go here or here, that's a wrap or lunge tackle. So what happened? Okay, that must just be when was the ball carriers pass line scrimmage. I was definitely gonna ask, but I switched it. But yeah,
Play, but we got to get into
yeah,
some of
using
the
my
game
brain.
modes as well, because Dynasty has some great changes as well, and that's where we get to number 8, the Dynasty Blueprint. This is an entirely new system for Dynasty mode that now makes you more of a program manager and a program builder versus just being a head coach. You now have a Dynasty point system which you have to use to manage your staff, your facilities, and your roster with recruiting. You also have AD expectations as well, so at a smaller school, maybe they just want you to win a certain amount of games or just win your rivalry game, whereas at bigger schools, they're expecting you to win a championship. And if you can't please your AD, you could lose your job. Basically, just think of the Dynasty Blueprint as your school's front office. Every program is going to have limited resources, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to spend them on NIL facilities or improving your coaching staff. And look, the bigger schools are going to have more resources just like in real life. So if you're trying to rebuild some of those smaller programs, it's going to be a lot tougher this year.
One thing I will say about the Dynasty Blueprint, yeah, I've said this in all my other reaction videos. Cal. It's schools like Cal and Nebraska that's never, top tier in terms of recruiting. Where they're always middle of the pack. Cal was way too easy to recruit on. Like every 5-star you see on the screen now, they wanted like no more than 125 from me. I was like, oh god, I didn't even win shit.
Now, when talking about the Dynasty Blueprint and the Dynasty points, I mentioned your roster, and that brings us to number 9, NIL. It's finally in the game in a much bigger way. Now, while this also is included inside of Road to Glory with different types of sponsorships and deals you can get now, and different scholarship packages when you're being recruited, it's also very, very big inside of Dynasty and that Dynasty Blueprint, because now recruits are going to expect some amount of NIL. Obviously, the 4 and 5 stars are going to expect a lot more. 3 stars and lower may not expect much at all. But it's not only about offering them NIL to land them as a recruit, you're going to also have to make sure you're giving them NIL yearly for them to stay on your roster and not transfer. Again, it's going to make rebuilding smaller schools a lot tougher, just like it is in real life. And we can't talk about Dynasty Mode without talking about number 10, the coaching carousel overhaul. This was something that was an issue in the last 2 games, but they've made it a lot better this year. Schools now evaluate coaches differently and have unique priorities and offer jobs that better fit your coaching resume. So now the coach moves don't feel nearly as random, and you can now apply for any job in the country instead of just a couple at a time. Now, this next one, a lot of you are going to love. They finally brought back the Heisman ceremony. We haven't seen this since, I think...
Now, I don't know, you feel me? I know if y'all probably watching this video and y'all probably haven't played the game or trying to stay up to date. We didn't play the beta and you're trying to catch up on a lot of stuff. It's pretty fire. Now, I do wish that they'll say names, because, like, we can't create these names, right? So you're not going to get a mustache man or, a person who assassinated another person. You're not gonna get those names. EA, y'all created the names, so when this Heisman Trophy ceremony is going on, we should be hearing these names, not the junior quarterback from Oklahoma, because that's what it sounded like. That's what it was when my Heisman ceremony came around.
The PS2 days. In both Dynasty and Road to Glory, you'll now have a full Heisman ceremony. It'll show the candidates. They'll all be wearing
But it's still fire. Don't get me wrong. It's still fire.
The winner will be announced. And this just adds a nice little layer of presentation to the 2 best modes in the game. And speaking about modes, we got to talk about number 12, which is Coach Mode. Now, this is a part of Dynasty, but you can also use this in just regular play now as well. Now, this kind of existed a little bit before, but they really revamped it this year. Now there's new cameras where you can...
This is fire. Who moved me? Who moved me? Oh my god. Nigga, cut off your mic while I'm recording this video.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you. Like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Right? This camera angle, fire. It's fire. And I will be using it.
Watch your team play from the coach perspective on the sideline, or even the coordinator perspective in the press box. And there's a bunch of different settings on the sideline, or even the coordinator perspective in the press
different
box.
sizes of the stadium.
There's a bunch of different settings that go along with this. You can cut off communication with your team at 15 seconds, just like in real life. You can set the primary read for your quarterback. You can make adjustments for your team. And you can play the game like a true coach and then observe them run the plays that you called. And all that stuff we've just talked about is really good, but maybe my favorite thing about Dynasty this year is they finally added number 13, Stadium Builder. You can now create your own stadium for your team builder teams. You don't have to use a generic stadium or another school's. And it's not just a
But will my team's end zones be in a playoff stadium? Last year was blue. It was fucking blue. No, I didn't jig with that.
about the stadium builder itself. It's team builder as a whole, which got great upgrades this year. You can now set your crowd theme, so you can have them all wear the same color or do a stripe out, and you can choose when those happen. You can now create your own soundscape, which means crowd chants, songs, band music, with all the different assets that EA has now put into the game. You can also adjust your team builder team from year to year. So if you want to upgrade your stadium as your program gets bigger with your team builder team, you can do that. Or if you want to add new uniforms a few years into your team builder dynasty, you can also do that. And they've also integrated Team Builder into Road to Glory, so you can now replace all high school teams with Team Builder teams. And one of my favorite parts is you can actually replace college teams in Road to Glory with a Team Builder. So essentially, you can create your own school and then go into Road to Glory and then try to get recruited by your created school. That's really awesome. And while we're talking about Road to Glory, let's kind of shift focus now into some of the good changes they got. Number 14, finally we've got new positions in Road to Glory. You can be a free safety, an edge rusher, and a tight end.
I know Baby Miles Garrett had to come out during the beta. That shit definitely needed some tuning. While I understand it was the beta, that shit needed some tuning. Oh my goodness, it was pretty bad.
Three of the most requested positions that have not previously been in the game for many years are now back. And it's not just new positions, because that takes us to number 15. There's a new player builder inside of Road to Glory now, and they kind of took more of a 2K approach with this, where your height and weight can determine your max potential for different types of ratings. You're going to have caps at certain ratings, but there's also cap breakers where you can blow past this if you achieve certain objectives. And they've also added in legendary templates too, so if you want to model your tight end after Rob Gronkowski or Tony Gonzalez, or your safety after Brian Dawkins, they've got a bunch of different legend templates in the game now for all positions. Hey, if you're still here at this point of the video and you haven't subscribed, you might as well go ahead, subscribe, join the family. That way you're always up to date with all the latest news for College Football 27. And I'm going to have some new exclusive gameplay coming in a couple days, and you don't want to miss it. Now, one of my favorite parts of Road to Glory this year is number 16, which are the new draft projections and legacy scores. These are two things that are going to track for your player throughout your entire career. Your draft projection is going to update based on what you're doing in high school and then what you're doing in college throughout your entire career. Good games, your draft projection goes up. Bad games, they come down. Your off the field stuff that you have to deal with academics and fitness and health and all that stuff factors into this as well. So you're going to track where your draft projection is throughout your entire career, which I think is pretty cool. And then your legacy score is going to track your resume, because it's not all about just your draft projection. It's about the legacy you're leaving behind. So records that you may break, awards you win, and all those things are going to factor into where your legacy score is. Now, we've talked about gameplay and we've talked about game modes, but one of the biggest parts of college football that separates it from a lot of other sports games is the presentation. So we got to shift gears into that for number 17 with expanded pageantry. And this is kind of a lot of things put into one here, but pageantry as a whole got a lot of updates, as it does every year. There's a bunch of new mascots in the game now. I believe now we're up to about 120 or so, which is pretty cool. They've updated a lot of team introductions as well, so they look better than ever. They added more light and drone shows for teams to the game. They've added new crowd chants, new turnover celebrations, new regular touchdown celebrations, and much more. The pageantry, as always, is really good in this game, and they've just taken it to another level. But my favorite part about presentation this year has to be number 18, the new broadcast package. They've done quite a bit here. They added in Joel Klatt for commentary, which is pretty good. There's no more Kirk Herbstreit. He's been replaced by Klatt. They've also added Holly Rowe as a sideline reporter, so you're going to hear her at certain parts of the game talking about things that are happening in real life college football and in your dynasties, which is really cool. They've added a bunch of new broadcast visuals, banners, and presentation elements, including new player action shots and coach information play call panels. They've even improved the halftime show with an around the country segment that looks really good. They've added new third and fourth quarter transitions, and the commentary is a little bit more alive in terms of talking about injuries, the changing weather, player performances in the game flow, and the momentum. It's a lot better than it was in the previous 2 years. And if we're talking presentation, this next one, number 19, is also one of my favorites. Dynamic weather, something we've been waiting for quite a while, which basically just means the snow and the rain can change throughout a game. Instead of it just being the same heavy snow all game, the game can start with no snow and then get heavier as the game progresses, or it could start with heavy snow and then ease up, and the same goes for the rain. This can change on a play-to-play basis, not quarter to quarter, so you'll notice sometimes even just a few plays later the weather gets significantly worse. Now, these next parts are going to be somewhat presentation, but also just more on the customization side of things. And number 20 is you can now customize your crowds, which is cool. Before, when you wanted to set your crowd...
Fuck what he's talking about right now. The team selection screen fire. Team selection screen fire as fuck.
To a certain theme, you couldn't do that yourself. You only got it inside of Dynasty mode for certain matchups, but now you can do this for any game. You can set your crowd theme as you go into it, and I think that's pretty cool. And number 21 kind of goes along with this, but you can now create your own camera presentation inside of Dynasty. So you can set your camera for different parts of the game and how you want the camera to look. So you can pretty much create your own custom broadcast package, which is something that I don't even think a lot of people thought about previously, but now that it's here, I'm like, man, this is actually something pretty cool. I'm surprised.
Hey, you know that.
Already. And this next thing is something that I feel like was definitely missing from previous games. Number 22, the rivalry energy. Well, what does that mean? Well, now when you play rivalry games, you're going to notice the players are more chippy, especially pre-game. They're going to be kind of pushing and shoving each other at midfield, talking trash to one another, and you're just going to see between plays, it's going to be a little bit more high energy than a regular matchup, and it should. Ohio State and Michigan, it should be personal. It shouldn't feel like just another conference game.
Them niggas ass. Go Buckeyes.
Depending on who you are, you might not care for this at all. But number 23 is mascot mashup. Look, I think it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a crazy game mode, something you can just play with buddies, especially people that might not be as good at the game as you. Everybody's 99 overall. You're playing with mascots. They have custom animations, custom ways that they throw the ball and celebrate. It's just a lot of fun. Hey, if you got kids, this is also probably something fun to do with them.
Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm going to force every nigga I know into a mascot mashup tournament. Yeah. And yeah.
As well. Number 20.
Everybody have a face cam.
To the game. We've got two teams that came up to the FBS level this year, North Dakota State and Sacramento State. And yes, they will be in the game. I don't know if everything about them is going to be accurate yet, like their stadiums. That might take time to get those into the game. But in terms of uniforms and rosters, they're in the game now. Number 25, they added new objectives and rewards for the Road to College Football Playoff mode. And this is a mode that's near and dear to my heart. I love the online regular team head-to-head, but a big complaint the last 2 years is you couldn't change playbooks and you couldn't change uniforms. Well, this year, you kind of can do that. You can unlock them now by playing through the mode. There's new objectives and things that you can do, and that does give you the ability to unlock different playbooks to use with any team and custom uniforms for teams if you win a certain amount of games with them. You can also unlock stuff for Ultimate Team if that's your cup of tea, and there's just other objectives and stats that'll track to just keep you a little bit more engaged into the mode. And look, we're getting near the end of the list, but we have to talk about another important change this year. Number 26, the big equipment overhaul. This was a big talking point, and EA delivered. They gave us a ton of new equipment this year, like the leg sleeve, which a lot of people have asked for. The hanging mouth guards, which a lot of people have asked for. We've got clear reflective visors, better crop jerseys, logos on the towel, and a lot more. But we have to finish this list off with one of the biggest changes this year, and this is something that's going to change the future of the game as time goes on. It's finally on PC. That means it's going to look better than ever. That means modders are going to add crazy stuff to the game. And if you're a PC gamer, it's probably going to be the way to play this game going forward once those mods come out. Now, you know about all the great features, but you have to actually see gameplay. You got to see what the game's looking like.
See y'all Thursday. It's not too much more talking we can really do, bro. Just see niggas Thursday. Hopefully I can live stream that shit.